Sridhar, how can y'all leverage as a leading data center in India? How can y'all leverage this approach, and how are y'all helping Indian organizations also deal with some of the issues that you described earlier?
The most example that I can give is my own organization. A drawing which is made by an architect is kept over 10 places. The same drawing is kept, or there are a set of drawings actually. They do carry over a period of the one project also, they become a ton of data, because there will be about a few hundred drawings which will be made. Absolutely. And they are kept in 10 places, and we take a backup of it because we are a BS certified company, and so as a part of business continuity process, we take all these 10 and put in another 10 locations, and I keep one copy at the CEO's office, making 21 copies of the same data. Now, this is a story of a small company. Just imagine a very large organization doing the same thing, maybe 10 terabyte. I have seen examples of 10 terabyte data becoming 130, 140 terabyte of data, the same thing. Now, this is where something I feel we come in and help the CIOs to regroup this and then deduplicate this data and gain efficiencies.
I wanted to dive down a little into this entire storage on demand approach, John, and perhaps look first at enterprise efficiency itself. So how does this approach deliver greater enterprise efficiency and higher performance with fewer drives, lesser need for power, and of course space itself, which is a huge constraint in cities like Mumbai?
Yeah, so I think it's two dimensions. The first dimension is only allocating the physical resources when they're required. And I think the second dimension is that you have varying storage resources behind your business critical and mission critical applications. And as that data becomes less frequently accessed, it's moved off of the high performance resources and put on lower performing resources. So on the first case, thin provisioning is an example where you provision an application, and behind that application, you virtually commit to that application a terabyte of data. But in reality, the physical resources committed to that application are a few hundred gigabytes. So you don't have 900 gigabytes of spindles spinning for months and months and months waiting for that data to arrive. As the data fills up, if you think of a cylinder filling up with water, as that data fills up that cylinder, a volume of that LUN, that logical unit, the resources are applied to support that transaction. In the case of tiered storage, most of our customers that we talk to every day, they have left all of the data that they've ever produced on a single tier of storage, spinning at very high speed, producing tremendous amounts of, consuming tremendous amounts of power, and having to dissipate even greater amounts of heat from their data centers. By putting together a tiered storage architecture, we're able to move data that's less frequently accessed onto lower tiers of storage that are spinning slower, consuming less power, and all of that equates to money. And we looked at Dell, we looked at 15 terabytes of business critical data that we used in our company, and we graded it across 3 tiers. We found out that what really needed to be on very high performance disk was 5% of the data that was accessed all of the time. 75% of the data could exist on a tier 2 piece of infrastructure, and 20% of the data would be on tier 3.
Sridhar, I wanted to now look at business agility, and I think business agility is something that's very important. A lot of CEOs are talking about that, and now IT is expected to drive business agility. So how can this approach really help business leaders drive greater business agility for their businesses?
The relationship between storage and the business agility is the scalability on demand. That is possible with the storage on demand framework. What businesses also need or the CIOs can do to make them more aligned, the business more aligned with his vision of the storage architecture, is develop a framework, and clearly, as John pointed out, that make it a 3-tier architecture. So basically give him a framework to the business user that he will be able to decide. The big challenge for CIO is he won't be able to decide what data is, how frequently it is used, etc., right? By the time he realizes that, it will be too late, and then he would have made the provision, he would have bought all the things and then set up. This framework would allow him to explain the user, and user will select what is to be done, bringing it, as John said, they have achieved 50% of efficiencies. They will be we'll be able to see them in no time.
Okay. Moving on from efficiency and agility, I want to move on to another very important aspect, that is that of resiliency. And in an era, I think, where business continuity, resiliency is becoming more and more important now to businesses. And again, CEOs are driving CEOs to improve enterprise resiliency. So how does this approach really protect data against downtime and disaster of any sort? And how can really CIOs improve availability?
Today, Snapshot Technology within a disk-based storage device allows you to take a copy of the application, store it, and then every night or every hour or every 5 minutes, depending upon how frequently you want to take a picture of that database, take a picture of only the data that's changed, and we call that a snapshot. Take that snapshot, store it locally, and to your point about resiliency, we can transport it remotely. So we're here in Mumbai, we could transport that to New Delhi and have a backup site so that if the application were to go down here in the city, we could fail over to New Delhi and maintain application uptime.
Yes, John. The biggest value add that Control S delivers to its customers is 100% availability. Apart from that, the key value add that we deliver to the customer is a massive scalability that he would need from, he does not know from where he's going to be attacked, from a CEO's office or from a compliance authority or from a business. And as I said, day-to-day management of storage efficiently, and all of this at the right cost.